Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to another live this morning and back at our usual time. And thanks, guys, for all your patience last week, and with our program while I was away. And thank you so much. And Norland, Mike, and there's my friend Brahim, Lori from Ventura, California, Manette, and Brahim, of course, from Portland, Oregon. Rosa from Montreal, how are you? Mary, Norwich, good morning. Janice from Brampton, and Kevin, our friend from Oshawa, Doris from Kitchener, Wendy from Markham, good morning. Donna from Park Hill, Jeanette, good morning. Yolande, bonjour. And Frida, thanks guys again for your patience last week. Marilyn from Edmonton. Miriel, how are you? And is that Mike, or I didn't see it? Kathy, Belleville. Laurie Lee, yeah, finally I see you, hey, Laurie. And Danny, good morning to you. Andrea, Nouveau Brunswick. And Cecilia from Manitoulin Island. Donna from Bell Valley. And Catherine, good morning from Newfoundland. Betty Lynn from Brantford. Diane, LaSalle, near Windsor. Linda from Chino. Dave, how are you? Francis from Vaughan. Carol, Newfoundland. And Linda, good morning. Oh, those Lindas. Jeanette, how are you? And Margie, Kansas, good morning to you. Daphne. And Eric, Ottawa. And Nativity, good morning. Madeleine, Kippawa. John, how are you? And Denise, good morning, North Bay. Alma, nice having you on. Okay, a couple of more. Barbara, because we got questions. Barbara from Atlanta. Jeanette from our staff, good morning. Rita, how is you? Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Bright and early, Glenda. Coburg. Margaret, good morning. And two more. Brenda and Jean. Good morning. Laurie and Ryan, I got to say hello from the Tampa Bay. Karen, good morning. Annette and Sherry. Mississauga, good morning. Olga, how are you? Okay, let's get to the questions, guys, because we got a fair amount of them, and we couldn't do it on Friday. So question and answer Monday, okay? Rebecca, I have continuous sweating on my face, wondering why. You're a woman. And Rebecca, I can tell you without even thinking about it, you got hormones. Yeah, men, we don't get much. Women, hormones. And I don't care how old you are. If there's an imbalance, especially between estrogen and progesterone, it doesn't matter how old you are. I've seen 80-year-old women still getting trouble with their hormones. Hormones, yes. So I would think it's an imbalance for sure, Rebecca, between your estrogen and progesterone. Get on the menopausal formula. A lot of women love that. Shay. Dr. Martin, are therapeutic lights any good? Well, I know one light that's really good. That's sun. Nothing beats the sun. So I'm not against therapeutic lights. I'm not. Not really my area of expertise, but I'll tell you, I'm not. For people that especially don't see the sun and can get some UVs. I got no problem, and there's different, there's red light therapy and blue light therapy, and there's different therapies out there. Yeah, I got no problem with it, but I'll tell you, there's nothing better than the sun, my friend. Nothing. The sun, I mean, even if you don't get vitamin D from the sun because it's in the middle of winter. And by the way, memo, it's Sudbury, and guess what? It's cool. Do you call that climate change, or do you call that the weather? Because I'm 71 years old, and in Northern Ontario, the weather always changes. And just in case we forget that we live in Northern Ontario, we get reminded. Like it's about, I don't know, +5 or, 40-something degrees Fahrenheit this morning. And yesterday was nice. Anyway, that's Northern Ontario. Okay. Thanks for the question, Shay. I got a great-grandchild named Shay. Not spelled the same way. Sherry, does the time you go to bed determine the quality of sleep? Like if you sleep at 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., is that getting better sleep than if you sleep from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m.? No. Not necessarily. Look, everybody's a little bit different. I am very big on going to bed at the same time every night, as much as possible. Get into a routine. Your body operates on what we call, Sherry, the circadian rhythm. Okay? Your body has got a clock on. It's got its own clock. It's got its own internal clock. So don't mess with that. And come on. Sometimes you're going to mess with that clock. But the idea is to try and get into a habit. So, I mean, I like, ordinarily I find like 10 o'clock. And I like 10 to, 6 a.m. I'm an early riser, that type of thing. But no, I mean, as long as you're getting there, I think it's got to be in that sweet spot of about 6-7 hours. That's when your self-cleaning oven really works. Your lymphatic system, your glial cells work much better. But as long as you're getting into the 5 cycles of sleep, your self-cleaning oven's going to work, okay, in the brain. Okay, so good question. Get your sleep. And I like being consistent. Get into some good habits. It's amazing to me, people have bad habits and they're 70 years old, they still got bad habits. But anyway, do the best you can. Laura, what causes high calcium and low vitamin D? Usually parathyroid. So you have two little P-like beside your para, okay, on either side of your thyroid, your parathyroid glands. They regulate your calcium levels in your blood, your parathyroid. And what's important there with parathyroid is you don't want too much calcium in your blood. Calcium in your blood can be very dangerous. Calcium belongs in your bones, not in your blood. But what brings it to your bones, calcium, is when you have vitamin K2. That's why God gave you cheese to eat. God gave you butter to eat, not Becel. I saw a commercial last night for Becel, plant butter. Plant butter is better than butter. And the poor cow walked out of the room, and man thinks they're smart. They're not smart at all. Because Becel, first of all, is garbage. And it belongs in the garbage. It's not good for you. It's a molecule away from plastic. And I don't care, all the plants in the world don't make butter. God gave you butter so that you can eat it like that. And it's got calcium and it's got vitamin K2 built in so that calcium ends up in the right spot. The problem is if you take a calcium supplement, it ain't going to get to its intended destination. You're to eat your calcium. Eggs, meat, and cheese has calcium plus vitamin K2, and the best source is cheese, cheese curds, and butter. Who doesn't like butter? It's good for you. Okay, thank you for the question. And Julie's asking if tremors can be cured. Well, listen, there's two things I always look at with tremors, okay? Non-Parkinson's tremors, okay? But you go back and, you know, if someone has Parkinson's, here's what we know. They have leaky gut. Leaky gut, guaranteed. The microbiome has been compromised. The Trojan horse of yeast, fungus, candida, gets into the bloodstream, crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it's a big, big factor. Any new research on Parkinson's is showing exactly that. It's leaky gut. I've been talking about that for 40 years, okay? For 40 years. So you get an unexplained tremor, look at that, leaky gut. You probably have some heavy metal in your body like mercury, lead, cadmium. It gets transported by yeast into your tissue. The other thing that I would look at, anytime you think of nerves, you have to look at vitamin B12. You need to get your B12 levels checked. Most people, and I mean 80% of the population, if not more, do not have optimized B12 levels. Their B12 is very low. They don't know it. Doctors don't care. And that's too bad, just because they don't study B12 like they should. And when you're under 400 for B12 numbers, which vast majority of people are, then guess what? There's some demyelination that takes place. The sheath on your nerves, your neurotransmitters are affected. And I'm a big guy on B12. Leaky gut, B12. Look for heavy metals, leaky gut. You can get heavy metals that come into the body, chelate them. You know what the best way to chelate heavy metals? Number one, keep your liver clean. Keep your liver clean. Your liver is your body's number one detox center. Keep it clean. How do you keep your liver clean? Cut out the sugar. Because fatty liver will attract heavy metals and it will keep heavy metals. It will block up. And your liver makes glutathione. Glutathione is Velcro inside your blood vessels, and glutathione takes heavy metals out of your body. That's why I like Navitol, because it elevates your glutathione. I like to keep your liver empty. I like probiotics, because if you have a broad spectrum probiotic, they will help to chelate. Okay, what do I mean by chelate? C-H-E-L-A-T-E, chelate your heavy metals out of your body. Absolutely. And chelation, you can do it yourself with probiotics. Okay, a broad spectrum probiotic. That's one of the reasons that we use our probiotic, and I used it successfully and I used to test heavy metals. Remember that. Okay, so people say, Doc, how do you know my heavy metals are gone? Well, remember, I did a urine test. You had mercury or whatever. And then we did a test when you came back. I put you on our program. I told you to empty your liver. I told you to drink water, because your water flushes. I told you to take probiotics to fix your leaky gut and chelate your heavy metals. And I put you on Navitol, and guess what? Your heavy metals are gone. Nothing better. That was my protocol. Okay, thank you, Julie. Liz, Dr. Martin says the reset is for everybody. Do I mean it, Liz? Well, you're asking, Liz, about what if a woman is a woman, and only women can get pregnant, okay? I said it. Oh, why would I even have to say that? Okay. Women, ladies, when you get pregnant, eggs, meat, and cheese. Look, guys, in eggs, meat, and cheese, you have everything. Okay? I mean, every physician is going to put you on a prenatal vitamin, right? Am I against that? Of course not. I like that. But guys, here's my protocol for pregnancy. Okay? Probiotics, you gotta make sure, because if you got leaky gut, baby gets leaky placenta. Okay? Vitamin D, absolutely essential for mommy and baby. You want that baby to have a good brain? Vitamin D. DHA, you want your brain, baby's brain to develop, put fat in it. DHA, heavy oil. I'm big on that. Big on that. Okay? Eggs, meat, and cheese. It's so good for you. It's so good for the baby. Yeah, they can do it. For sure they can do it. There's everything in there. You know, people think, oh, eggs, meat, and cheese, doc. What about fiber? And they think, you know, I'm not saying you can't have vegetables. I'm not saying you can't have fruit. I'm not saying that. But if you want to do the reset, good for you. It's good for you. It's good for you, good for the baby. It's the best fuel in the world. It's 99 octane, not 87 like crappy carbs are. Okay? It's the best fuel for you and for baby. Absolutely. I had thousands of women over the years that we put on that protocol, and B12 too. Okay. Thanks, Liz. Rafaela, hello. I was diagnosed with cervical discopathy. Okay, so you had problems with your neck, giving you probably, I don't know you, Rafaela, but probably numbness down an arm or into your shoulder, no fun, a bulging disc. Look, I'm really big on, taking care of that and then making sure it never comes back. Can I tell you one thing, Rafaela? Once you've settled this down, get strong. Get strong. The gym, and you don't have to spend, you can do it at home. Once you're better, okay, I'm just going to talk about better for you get strong. Get your, I always call them like anchors. Get your back muscles, your leg muscles even more, even for your neck, leg muscles, get them strong. It'll make all the difference because they stabilize you. Take a lot of pressure off those discs, even in your neck. Get strong. Okay? That's after. In the meantime, you might, massage therapy, chiropractic, would be helpful. And I love our inflammation formula. As soon as it comes back, in the meantime, you can use Navitol and curcumin. And they can be very helpful. Thank you for the question, Rafaela. We appreciate it. Alexandria, what does Dr. Martin recommend as a transitional beverage for toddlers as they wean from breast milk? Can I be honest with you? Water. Water. Once a baby comes off mummy, they need water, not milk. Now look, if you're going to give them milk, give them a little bit of cream. And I mean it. Give them cream and not milk. Unless you got a cow in the backyard. If you got a cow and you can get that whole milk, then give them some of that. But they really don't need to drink. As long as they're eating, okay, that transitional period, mush up meat, and you know what I mean, and eggs, meat, and cheese. Eggs, meat, and cheese. And but drinking, wean them on water. Wean them on water. Milk. Listen, I used to like milk when you could milk a cow. But today you go to the grocery store. I'm sorry, I just don't like that milk. That's why I still, if you're going to do anything, give them cream and a little bit of cream, and you can put some water in it and water it down to some extent, but don't give them fat-free milk or 1%, 2%. Even homogenized. I'm not that big on that milk, okay? Grocery store milk, I do not like. And don't put them on any plant milks. No almond milk, no oat milk, none of that. Now, if you can get coconut milk, pure, I could live with that. I can't stand plant milks. They're full of oxalates. And they don't need those things. Okay. I don't mean to get excited, but I do. Okay. Thanks, Alexandria. We appreciate it. Linda. Oh, Linda's question for Dr. Martin. Condition known as dry eye. Well, you know what? When you got dry eye, I'm going to tell you what fixes it. And I have had tremendous success over the years. I give them Navital and high DHA. Dry eye is much more common. Look at me. Okay, I'm on a screen. I study on a screen. Okay, and I'm on a screen a lot. Okay, it's just the nature of my business today, producing the Doctors In podcast and whatever. Okay, that gives you dry eyes. That's a big effect on dry eyes. But I'll tell you, with high DHA, thousands of patients. Optometrists have commented how good my former patients' eyes would get with DHA and Navital. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Linda, okay? Dry eye, do that. Chaz. Just reviewing the video on B12. Okay, they spoke about the intrinsic factor. Okay. Question, how does one improve on this to be able to absorb as much B12 as possible? Very, very good question, Chaz. Jazz or Chaz? Chaz. It's CH. Okay, so look, the best way to increase intrinsic factor is to eat meat. Okay. Because one of the ways you lose intrinsic factor is when your pH of your stomach becomes more alkaline. You don't want that. It's not meant to be. But people that eat a lot of carbs, they have an alkaline pH in their stomach. Not good. And the reason they have it is because your stomach was meant to eat meat, especially red meat. God designed you that way. And people don't listen, and they think vegetables are better than meat, so they eat a lot more vegetables, or they eat crappy carbs, and their pH in their stomach comes up. Because if you're not a cow, you're not a rabbit, they have alkaline pHs compared to a human. Okay? But what happens, that pH comes up, your intrinsic factor is lessened. So start eating meat, eggs, meat, and cheese. You'll find out your pH gets better. I call these things like American Express, digestive enzymes. I take digestive enzymes every day. Because as you get older, you don't absorb as well. You just naturally don't have as much intrinsic factor. Okay? So that's what you do. Probiotics help with that too. Believe it or not, probiotics help with intrinsic factor. They help with everything. Okay? But at the end of the day, most people, as they get older, need to take a supplement, a sublingual supplement of vitamin B12. And when people don't listen to me, they do it at their own peril. I'm telling you the importance of vitamin B12. You have no idea. You know me. B12, vitamin D, B12, vitamin D, B12, vitamin D. Okay? But thanks for the question, Chaz. Okay? Rita. I like this one. How can we know if to join a conference you're speaking at? Thanks, Rita. That was me last week. Well, look, guys, I mean, they booked that for me almost a year ago, okay? They booked me at a conference in Guelph, and really I had very little to do with it. I didn't know anything about it, really much. They didn't give me a lot of information about it, and I didn't, to register or whatever, and I had no idea. So, but Rita, if I'm going somewhere and I know ahead of time and people can join me, I will let you know, okay? For example, last spring, so in April, or was it March? I don't remember now. I did a seminar. I was invited to do a seminar in Fort Lauderdale. And people that are on, even this morning, came over from the west coast of Florida, from the Gulf area, and came over to see us. And there were several people that heard about it and that I announced it, and people came to see me. And I love that. I love that. This particular conference, I really didn't know much about it and the planning of it. I just showed up to speak at it. Okay? But I'll try and give you a heads up if there's anything you can do to join me. I'd love to see my folks. I mean, you guys, I'd love to do a tour even on my book. And, COVID sort of put a kibosh to, I used to do lots of live seminars. And of course we have this format, which is great. You can go all around the world on social media. Really good. Okay, thanks, Rita. Sherry, is flaxseed or fish oil a better source of omega-3? Sherry, there's no comparison, okay? Look, the plant kingdom, seeds, nuts, have omega, but they're short-chained. They don't have DHA and they don't have EPA, okay? They're short-chained omega-3s. Does that make them bad for you? No, they're good for you. But the long chain, Sherry, the long chain DHA, long, is much more bioavailable. It's what your brain is made up of. And where do you get DHA? Fish and steak. Fish and steak. And you get EPA too. But if you follow me any length of time at all, I've been as consistent as all get out. There is nothing like DHA because I've proven it. I've proven it on blood tests where they do the omega levels. I've proven it to optometrists with their eyes. I've proven it to patients. Tens and tens of thousands of patients over the years take DHA. Your brain is made up of DHA. And flax seeds, you guys know this. I love flax seeds, but not for omega-3. What seed do I tell you to take? Only one. Because you're not a chipmunk or a squirrel, but there is a seed that I love, flaxseed. Why? Because of lignans. And lignans block estrogen. And that's good for women, and that's good for men. I love it. I even allow you to have flax seeds on the reset because of lignans. I've been working for so many years, as it was in the days of Noah when I started practicing, and I'm a lignans guy. Lignans block extra estrogen, and we live in an estrogen-dominated world. And flax seeds are good. For the omega-3, nah. Okay? No, I'm not big on that. Because they're not bioavailable enough. Your body don't sop it up like it sops up DHA and EPA. And I like DHA more than EPA. I like EPA, but I love DHA. And you can't change my mind. Thanks. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, that's a song, by the way. Okay, I heard that flax. Oh, I didn't even finish, Sherry, your second. I heard that flax is better because of the mercury in the fish. You know what? Listen. First of all, you and I don't live in a perfect world. Okay, so it's a good question. I appreciate it very, very much. Don't get away from fish because of mercury in the fish. Because if you think that your seeds and nuts and your vegetables, and I hear this every day, so don't take this personally. You know, people tell me, well, yeah, but don't they, but you got glyphosate. You think in the soil today that there's not heavy metals there? I don't care where you go, Dr. Martin, it's fully organic. Well, good for you, but it doesn't mean it's still on this planet. It ain't perfect. It's better, but it's not perfect. And the only fish really that have the big fish like tuna would have mercury. Salmon, I love salmon. It's so good for you. I love steak, even better. Because it's got more DHA than fish does. Yeah. Okay? If you get grass-fed beef, it's got more DHA than fish does. Perfection, you're going to get that in heaven. On this planet, no, not so much. Man seems to ruin things when he puts his hands to things, right? And look, I don't buy that. And listen, I take fish oil every day I take fish oil. I want this brain to work. I want my joints to work. I take it every day. I'm consistent. Okay, Anne, what causes nosebleeds? Out of nowhere, man in the 40s. Well, look, it could be like I've seen it where they have an allergy. They developed allergies. They don't even know it. Check that out. Make sure of, obviously, one of them you really make sure you check out is that check the blood pressure. Make sure that hasn't, you can have silent high blood pressure, silent in the sense that, you don't know you have high blood pressure and that can cause bleeding, nosebleeds. Allergies, irritations to the nasal passages. Sometimes what happens is they get a fungus. They get a yeast developing in the sinuses and your body's trying to get rid of it. So probiotic, snip them. Don't do drugs, but you can snip probiotics. Put probiotics in the nasal passages and see what happens. There could be a fungus in there. Okay? I'm serious though. Don't sniff drugs, but you can sniff probiotics. Okay. No, they're so good for you, right? Okay. Hey, I got through those questions a lot faster than I thought. I must not have pontificated too much this morning. Okay? Okay, a couple of announcements. One, okay, we're going to have question and answer Friday. So we'll have it Monday, today, and Friday. Okay, so let's get your questions in. Thank you for your patience last week. Again, it was a little different. I had to change the times. It was just when they scheduled me to speak in at the conference. So, you know, I had to do an earlier program. And guys, thank you for the feedback with Theo. We had a lot of fun on Friday at the program. Okay? Guys, don't be shy. Ask your questions. Our staff is the best. It's the best. Okay? These are real people that are answering your questions and helping you out. And we, you know, we mean it. This is, my office staff, the best. Okay? The best. I handpicked them. No, they're the best. Okay? Nick, Jeanette, Brandy, Chantal, the girls, fabulous people. Okay? And I mean it. Okay? So if you got any questions, send them in. If they can't answer, it comes to me. If you want any blood work looked at, send me your blood work. I'm happy to do it. I look at blood work all day long, and it gives me a real good idea, or I can give you a couple of things to watch for when you send me. Get me your B12, get me your vitamin D. If you can get vitamin D, get it done. If you have to pay for vitamin D, it's worth the investment. You should get vitamin D levels checked at least once a year. Get your B12 checked, if you can, at least twice a year. And I want those critical tests. I like CPR. A senior moment. CRP, C-reactive protein, that inflammation marker. I like looking at ferritin. I like looking at your triglycerides. I like looking at HDL. Okay? I like those things. They tell me a lot. And so don't be shy. Send in your blood work. Okay, guys, we love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.